Hello and welcome everyone. This is Mike. I'm the founder and CEO of SuiteDash. This video is just one in a series of many videos that will be highlighting both new and current features. Be sure that you're subscribed on YouTube and following us on all social media to get the latest videos and updates about new and existing features. Alright, so let's get started. Okay everyone, welcome to today's VIP sneak peek and collab session. Today we're going to be looking at a new design UI UX for dashboard blocks. Several of the blocks that we already have been redesigned and are on their way as far as development. But before we do that, before we commit fully to the development direction, we are excited to have this collaboration session and get ideas from the community, get feedback from the community, and we feel like that there probably will be a lot of suggestions which will be later iterations. You guys are quite ambitious and creative and have great ideas, but very possibly we could get some really amazing ideas that, oh yeah, we didn't think about that, let's go ahead and put that in. That'll be an easy switch or a change or just an evolution of what we had already planned. So without further ado, let me go ahead and let's get started. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Okay, this is not live, just so everybody is clear. This is not live. You will not be able to find these widgets or blocks in your account. This is Figma. Okay, so this is a designer tool that is used by probably every professional software company in the world. If you don't know the story, they were agreed to be purchased for $20 billion by Adobe after something like 6 years in business. And then that deal fell through. Yeah, 20 with a B. That's right. 6 years. They make an incredible tool. Figma is very useful in the sense that it lets us build to the pixel, and the front-end developers take directly from here. So what you see here has a near 99-100% chance of translating almost perfectly to the pixel onto the screen, because Figma gives us the CSS, gives us the calculations of CSS, and then it's as easy as copy paste. Yeah. So anybody that's used it and understands its futility, it's outstanding. Aaliyah, you are one of those people. Okay, so what I'm showing here is a collection of blocks, but I think I'd like to get started with the My Task block. So let's go back here. So here we are in the My Task block, and I'm going to zoom around a little bit, and hopefully we will get just the right view that we're looking for here. Okay. So the current My Task block has a few limitations. There's not enough data there. We of course know these things and are looking for this iteration and this change to fix some of the things that the community has asked us for, that we know would be more utilitarian. The important thing to remember about these blocks is that what we want to avoid here is trying to recreate the My Task functionality as it exists in full-blown status to recreate it here. So as you're thinking about your feedback and as you're thinking about how this is working, remember that what we want to try to do is intelligently and as utilitarian as possible, draw a line between what this is as a dashboard widget and what it should be as a full-blown tool. Okay? So yes, there are going to be a lot of ideas. You can say, well, what if we could do this? What if we could do that? And maybe you'll be right, but sometimes those ideas would fall into the category of it's probably better if we just do the full UI with that. And as we're working, that's more of a working functionality. Okay, so here, one of the biggest things we've heard from the community is they wanted the ability to mark a task complete from the My Task widget. So here we've added these check marks, and you can hover over and see this. And by the way, I didn't say this, but I think it's kind of implied. If you have ideas, if you have feedback, if you have thumbs up, if you have anything during this session, please do just put it in the task. Please participate. This is a collab session. All right. So as we hover over this check mark, you can mark this task as complete. So what we want to do here is have a secondary click, a secondary step, because tasks very often have automations assigned to them. And what we don't want is on the, as a random click here, suddenly triggering all these automations accidentally, like what they call a fat finger. And then next thing you know, everything's out the door and all the automations are done and you can't bring them back. So one click to highlight and one click to mark yes, or you can mark cancel if you've accidentally clicked there. If you want to mark the task complete, it's as easy as doing this and marking it complete. And you'll see that the status changes. Now we're completed. We get a date of completion is stamped. All right, so that's the complete status. Also, you'll be able to access the task files from this UI. So if you click here, you would be able to load it's a modal where your tasks files live, and that will load directly over the dashboard to allow for downloading of the task files or uploading of new task files directly in this task. Okay, additionally, you'll see that your task status and type and priority are here, or in phase. I'll show you the admin side in just a minute to help tie all this together. This icon indicates that this task has subtasks. Okay, now this is part of this falls into the category of we're not going to try to represent the subtasks here on the dashboard, but you do know that it does have subtasks because of the icon. Okay, and then down here, this one indicates that this task was generated by an automation. And this icon indicates that this task is involved in a task dependency sequence. So these are some of the ideas that are still to be fleshed out in full planning. I just want you to realize that what we can do here is we can have 6, 8, 10 icons that have meanings to you so that you can understand and get a 30,000 foot view of, okay, I understand what this is, I understand where we are. And up here you'll have the somehow I feel like I'm not in the right place here. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Here you'll have the a click to go directly to the project. Lauren says, can you add accordions to this block? My employees have many clients and hundreds of tasks. Can the task be accordingly by the client when they open it and they can see all the tasks? So Lauren, this definitely falls into the category of this. That would be a job for the full task UI with filters and the ability to handle large numbers of tasks. This is really more meant for you as my tasks. These are my tasks. These are the ones that are assigned to me. I need to, you'll see here in the filters, usually you'd want to filter by due date upcoming, and there are other ways to filter that we'll put in, but the idea is you want to just log in and say, okay, this is what I'm looking at, here we go. You'll be able to click this whole row anywhere that's not clickable outside of these items. You'll be able to click the row and bring it straight in and go to, it'll take you right to the task, like drilling straight in. So it won't be a far jump to get there, okay? Okay, and then I'll be able to see the name of the things. Yes, David, this is exactly the kind of thing. One thing that you guys also please keep in mind, David says, the task dependency indicator, that maybe you hover over and see the task that's waiting or some dependency information. That's great. But one thing to keep in mind, and I'm not saying we won't do it, but always keep in mind too, which is important, is that there's no hover on mobile and there's no hover on iPad. So when we think of these things, we have to try to think of, will this be something that we can't design the UI so it's critical? These hover things, they'd have to be kind of nice to haves. So that's all. But yes, great idea. And we're going to review all these ideas. I'll probably watch this back a dozen times just to make sure we have everything got in the notes. So thank you for that. Okay, so here you'll have the option to display the project, clickable directly to the project, the client, clickable directly to the client, and so on. The due date's here, and then there's the three dots menu, which gives us the ability to stack or add any number of additional options as we go. Maybe we won't need this. If we don't need it, it won't be here. But that's kind of a quick overview of this particular widget. Now I think let's look quickly before, I was going to save this to the end. Yes, link directly to the client here, David. Right to their CRM dashboard. So if you say, oh, I need to go there and do something direct with this client, it's one click, you're on their dashboard, and you know that on the dashboard, everything is really 1 or 2 clicks away for that particular client. Okay? All right, so let me scroll down here. Let me navigate to the admin for my task. Good, okay. So everybody see this? Let me switch the chat. Look at that. Wow. Skills. All right. So the chat's on the left side now that everybody can see. Agreed, Ken. Agreed. And that is something that we have as well as a goal. Okay, so now you'll see that the task block options, which formerly was a modal, we've moved those to sidebar UI now. They give us more room and a scroll. So here is the block title. We saw before that it has a block title. It said my task. You can change this to whatever you want. If you want it to be something else or a translation, for example, you can just type that in here. Show number of tasks. You'll be able to choose between 5, 10, 15, 20. Probably 20 will be the max. But the idea is that it'll be a predictable number and therefore a predictable height. And I'll get back to that in just a second. The default sorting. This will be of the sorting options that you saw on the front end. You'll be able to designate exactly which sort you like the best or that you want to start with, and you can designate that for the block. Here's one. You see it's unchecked. Hide remove task from the My Task block when marked complete. So you'll notice that when we marked this complete, that it stays, right? But with that option that I just showed, if you enable it, what will happen is this task will just kind of fade out and disappear, and the rest of them will move up. So if you had 10 tasks, you can mark complete, mark complete, mark complete, and they would just disappear as you go. And now you're working with only incompleted tasks. Okay. Okay. Sort by client. That's a good idea. Thank you very much. Yep. Okay, so let's continue. Try to get to the right place. One sec. Okay, so back here. Okay, so let's go through these options again. So you can show the project name. As you saw on the front end of the block, what we're trying to do is give you guys the most granular possible options. You can turn off the project name if you don't want it. You can turn off the phase. You can turn off the status, turn off the priority. All of these are available to you. So everything here that's on the card has the ability to be hidden in case it just doesn't work for your use case. And you can do this on the block level. So keep in mind that these settings are not universal settings. When you go to say you're building a dashboard for a freelancer is a good example, and you put this My Task block on there, you may not want them to see the client, right? You may not want them to see something else. But in that particular block on that particular dashboard, you can adjust these settings to accomplish your particular goals in that scenario. And so, and if you're the super admin and you have a My Task block, you want to see everything, so you can turn it all on. But it's very adjustable and configurable to your use case, which is a big deal. Okay? All right, so let's go back here and notice that the My Tasks block and the My Invoices block are completely perfectly lined up, as well as the filter block is kind of right in line. These blocks will be designed in a way that they will have, remember I said it'll be 5, 10, and 15, 20. It'll be very difficult for you to create an asymmetrical, an off-center, a janky layout with this, because the idea is that on the left side, if you choose a block with 10, and on the right side you have a 5 and a 5, we'll intelligently adjust the spacing, the vertical spacing here, to make sure that 110 is equal to 2 5s, if that makes sense. The way that these numbers are going to be, the spacing will be built, all that will be taken into account so that you can 50-50, 2 blocks beside each other, or you can run 20 block on the left and 4 or 5 blocks on the right, or however you need to do it, however you want to do it. The idea is to make it simple for you so that it's really easy to have a nice layout where all the lines line up and you have a symmetrical look, which even if people don't notice, they do notice. It's subconscious. People subconsciously associate symmetry with beauty, with quality, with professionalism. So what we want to try to do is constantly try to build in a symmetrical way so things are lined up. Okay. Any other questions of the My Task block? So you're showing 5 tasks. You can click here and go view all tasks. All right, David, let's read David's question. I'm going to switch it back to the right here into this blank spot. Would love to have a setting that allows you to suppress completed tasks right away, or keep completed tasks visible until, option that lets you select a custom period of time, minutes, hours, or completed tasks will stay visible and then drop off. Okay. Well, yeah, that's just an adaptation of this one, David, behavior option, hide, remove tasks from My Task block mark complete. And if we say we enabled this, I think what you're saying is that you would say 10 minutes or 30 minutes. And so the idea would be that if you said 30 minutes, then this block, these checks would stay here for 30 minutes until this 30 minutes later, it would just say, see you later, I'm out of here. It's my time to go. Got it. Okay. I like that. That's a later iteration thing, but yes, I do like it. That's very good. Okay, let's move to My Invoices. All right, so again, this one is typically going to be meant for 2 sides. One side is going to be the admin who just wants to see what are the invoices that are due, that are coming up as far as being due. Let me get zoomed here a little bit. One sec. There we go. What are the invoices that are coming up and will be due soon? All right, and one sec. Perfect. And then on the client side, this is a widget that will be very useful for you on the client side to display. Now, the client side will be a little bit bare bones compared to this. It won't have as many options, but it'll be pretty close. It'll be pretty close. So here's the original amount of the invoice. This is the client. Will be clickable right to their client dashboard. Here's the title of the invoice. And now here's, in case there's been a partial payment, you'll be tagged here. And then you have an open balance, which gives you the open remaining balance. All right. Here you can say, this is the admin side. So we have record payment, which will pop up and give you the modal that you're used to. And you can just record your payment very easily from the dashboard. I know from experience that is one feature that I would really like. You see the invoices that are past due and see the ones that are due in the future. And then anyone that is paid, this one is paid, it'll say fully paid, and then it'll show the method for which it was paid. Okay? This is indicating a recurring, that was generated from a recurring generator, invoice generator. This indicates that it was generated from an automation. So there are several ways that we can complete here. And again, this mock-up is not done, all the decisions made. We're here with the community at a place that I would say it's 70% through the ideas. We kind of have a really good idea about the direction. And then it's just a matter of, okay, we know we want icons here. Let's identify the scenarios where we need an icon to identify, and then we'll move from there. So you guys can probably think of a couple more that should be here as far as icons. On the client side, this would look very much the same, I'd say, except for these icons, which they don't need to see. And instead of record payment, it'll just be make a payment, right? Very simple. So that is exactly how that should work. On the client side, they can view all of their invoices. You probably want to keep it down. I don't know many clients to have more than 5 invoices. Depending on your business, maybe that's something that's common. But just probably a quick My Invoice widget on their dashboard would be really useful in this case. Of course, they're not going to see their own name. Okay, so let's look quickly at the admin of My Invoices. Very simple. You can rename it again. You can define how many invoices are showing. This is a good one. So if you consistently accept payments or manually record payments from admin, things like checks in the mail is very common. Wire transfers, maybe. If you're trading out chickens or whatever you're doing, that's something that you have to record manually. And you can customize these options in the platform. But here, what's great is you can define the one. Sweet coin. There you go, Ken. Exactly. And Ken is the proud owner of at least one. You can define which option you want to be as the default. Now, you can change it. When you click that button, it opens the modal, and you can change it there. But this one just saves you another couple clicks if that's the one you're always using. And then here, you can just some of these currency options and layout options if you want to adjust a little bit. Okay. Here we go. So you can remove this avatar. You can decide to not show USD if that's your thing. Canadian dollar that's a good thing, CAD or Australia, especially with this symbol. So in your use case, yep, let's just see, right? Isaac, yes. As I was actually speaking this way in this one, I realized that it would be awesome to have another setting very similar to the one on my tasks. So Isaac says, I'd love a filter on the block to show only open invoices. So if we looked at the setting under my task, like this one, hide remove tasks, this would be a very easy one and just say hide paid invoices. Not really helping me. I already know that, right? Okay, so David says on the My Invoices block, I'd love to be able to see the data of the most recent client notification about the invoice. Would also like to have send custom notification button to open a dialog box where we can add a quick note and send a new notice to the client with invoice and payment link. Okay, yeah, David, good. I think things like that, the easiest place for us to add this kind of functionality will definitely be in the 3 dots menu. And imagine just about really easy for us to adapt any 3 dots menu item that you see in the invoice list, the full-blown invoice list, to here, and just same functionality, just pulled to the front here in the widget. So definitely, okay, that's a great idea. Something to do there. Okay, good. Just on a side note, I don't think we've talked about much of this yet as far as how do you guys like the layout, the design? Let's talk about that for a second, just the visual appeal here. And keep in mind that we always have to design everything to be universally adaptable to every color on the rainbow. So pink, green, bright green, crazy red, all these colors have to be on the sidebar here. we have no idea what these colors are going to be, so we have to kind of keep it down. One of the things we'll be doing in the future, the near future, is adding another color option in your platform branding, and we'll call it the highlight color. So those of you that are in some kind of interior design or design in general know what a highlight color or a splash color is, and that's going to be something that we use in maybe in the platform, about the color, the blue color that you see often in like a CRM dashboard, for example. The highlight color will be something you can customize, and it'll replace that color and then other colors as we'll show you in here. Like this checkbox, for example, this is taken from the platform branding. If you had green over here, this checkbox would be green. If you had a purple, these checkboxes would be purple. And so there's some of that going on in this design. Okay? All right, let me read some of the options here, or some of the comments. Great. Okay, so the layout is acceptable. The design, that's good. Everybody's happy with that. Even the light gray is pleasant. Did you ever think so, David? That's a beautiful light gray. All right, so maybe have like hues that let you select brights via the Crayola marker series. I gotcha. So that's what these tags are built around. So for example, if you choose these colors are customizable. So if you choose a phase or these types, you can choose these custom colors. So what we won't do is show big giant splashes of red. We will take the font, the actual text, and color it as you indicate, and then the tag, behind it, the badge, will be like a 10% opacity of that color, or some calculated pastel version, as you say, of that color. And that really helps calm down the craziness when the colors just get to be too much in your face. And so it's a nice way to handle this. Also, you see task files here. This is what's going on. Same with this. There'll be a dark gray and then a 10% right here. What you're seeing here is the first foray and the first sort of big push into these new dashboard blocks. And we're committed to keeping these going, right? More and more and more. So these ideas will definitely be handy. Okay, let's look at the CRM filter block. Now, you guys are aware of this one already. I think many of you are using this one. This is just a redesign, right? So this is a way that you can, from the admin side, say, I want you to show me in this block all the people that are in a certain circle or at a certain phase or in my onboarding process. There's probably dozens and dozens of combinations that you can use in the filter block settings to define who will show here. What we've added is a little bit more information, the ability to impersonate directly. Exactly, David. It's super useful, but this should clean it up a little bit and allow for a little more functionality. Let me let Lauren in. Okay. You'll be able to message them directly from here using the messaging toolkit, and of course this will open a new tab to their CRM dashboard. Here you'll be able to see what circles they are in. There will be hover here, but of course hover is not supported in mobile. But since we give you the ability to set colors based on circles, then it's not that unthinkable that you would be able to associate these colors over time with, you would know which circles they're in and what combinations mean what to you. So again, the idea is to have this be a very surface start place that you can work with. And then down at the bottom here, of course, there's a search. You can search through this list is already filtered by the settings in the admin side. So this is not an every client search. This is only by the 8 people or the 20 or the 100 that meet the requirements of being in this particular block. But good, David. Or you can search through this list, even if they're not on the front page. If they're ways away, you can search through here And then you can filter by things like companies. So if you click companies, it'll just show you just the companies, or you can unclick. And this is a separate set of filters. So you can say, show me the clients who are companies, for example. So you can combine these. And this is an idea of how to filter these. Okay. And keep in mind, for those of you who haven't used the CRM Filter Block and you're not really understanding the use case, what these are often used for is to create a dashboard that you rename this to say, oh, this is my phase 1 of my onboarding, and then there's phase 2, and there's phase 3, and then you'll create an entire dashboard full of these blocks and usually this is for someone high up in the organization to try to keep an eye on things. And maybe it's just a secondary dashboard that you click to a few times a day to see where things are. But as people are moving through your onboarding process, which is usually defined by circles, you'll be able to see who is there, who's now in phase 2, who's now in phase 3, etc. Okay. So I'm just showing one now, but this is kind of the use case for that. Okay. I think I have to go faster. All right. Let's look at the reporting block. Okay. So the reporting block is going to be a little bit different than it exists now. So now the reporting block is just a block that has a set of statistics that are predefined, hard-coded almost. It's very difficult for you to adapt that, and it's in tabs, so it's a little bit all there, all or nothing. And this new approach will be much more flexible. So what you can do is a reporting block is going to be, and in this case, what you're seeing is these 4 on the top are one reporting block, and these 4 on the bottom are a second reporting block. Okay, there's 2 reporting blocks here. So let's look at the admin side, and that'll be a little more clear. So this is the reporting block. I neglected to change this title here, but so now what you can see is you'll be able to choose the number of tiles in a reporting block. So if you want to have 4 tiles, you can do that. If you're trying to put in a 50-50 layout, you can choose 2 tiles. If you want to go a little different, it's just completely up to you. You can go all the way down to 1 tile if you want, because maybe you want to put one little block, one of these, in a corner somewhere in a 1/4, 3/4 layout. So this will give you all those options. You'll see that you can just enable or disable it with this click, these blocks. So you're going to choose 4. If you have 4 here, you're going to need to choose 4 here. And then you can use these accordions to define the settings of that particular block. Okay. So I'm going to go over the settings and then we'll go back and take a look. Okay, so the block title, total clients, this is that primary title. And then the prime display is going to be the data, the primary piece of data that's in that little report. And in this case, total number of clients. Or here's an idea that you could say, there it goes. I have a little delay here. There we go. Total number of new clients during the stats range. Okay, and I'll explain what that means. But total number of clients, if you have 1,000 clients, say for example, total, that will show 1,000. The stats range is going to be the range of the report, essentially, right? So in the past 30 days, it's going to tell you what it's going to do some statistics based on the last 30 days. And if you have a total number of new clients as your prime display, you'll have your gold metric, and then that's where your calculations are going to come from for the up and down, up percentage, down percentage, etc. So this is your new metric. I want to add 25 new clients in 30 days. All right. And if you say that to the mechanism, then it will say, all right, well, great. Guess what? You're on track to do more than your 25 new clients. You're up 13.5%. I'm sorry. This is up over your existing clients in the last 30 days. So this number will indicate if you have 13.5% more clients than you did 30 days ago, It's a running total, and this is also a running percentage of the likelihood or the progress towards your goal during the metric that you define. So that's a simple set of ways to, a simple way to set just some goals, right? And then get a quick reading, a dashboard level reading of your progress towards that. Okay, same thing with total prospects, same thing with total leads. This all really will work the same. And this just gives you, these are just ideas. We have probably 10 more ideas of the way that these blocks that will work in this capacity. And you'll have those options available to you in the block. Settings, let me go back. Refresh. And here, okay. So this stack will just continue to grow and give you more and more options. Now, understand that you can create and add as many reporting blocks to a dashboard as you want. So if you wanted to create an entire dashboard with just 100 of these blocks in whatever capacity, if you want every block and you want them all configured, you can do that. And you would just have all that data right at your fingertips on that. You might call that, this is my reporting dashboard, right? So great. Let me see. Love the trending graph. That's great. Yes, Chaplain Tig. One of the ones that's not here is number of people in a circle, for example. So you could name the circle in the admin. You'd be able to identify the circle, and then it would have the number of people in the circle, and then possibly some other filtering to help you easily see who's in the circle. And that's a similar way of understanding where people are in your process, defined by you. So it's not always obvious what it means when somebody's in the circle, but you would understand. David says, in addition to being able to change the name of the block, yes, I'd love the ability to assign it. Yes, David, good. You'll see here, just to mention that, here is the icon color theme. So if you wanted to customize the color, but yes, the icon is here. I just didn't add that, but yes, we could definitely have, yes, Maria, that's what I'm talking about now. I'm sorry, Maya. This would give you the ability to set the color scheme of that icon cluster there, and then also you'd have the ability to change the icon here. Okay, so let's go back. You mean here? Yes, exactly. So imagine you had like a real attractive spectrum of colors for each block as you wanted it. That would be no problem. That's the idea. Okay, and the icons as well. Okay, let me make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay, so we talked about the layout. We talked about the uniformity of that layout and how that will be enforced. So for the reporting block, for example, now you have a certain height here. It'll be built into the layouts that you'll be able to stack 1, 2 reporting blocks, say right here. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4 reporting blocks. Then the bottom of that bottom reporting block will line up perfectly with the bottom of this one. And so you have a nice layout. You'll be able to build all sorts of really symmetrical layouts there. Okay, we talked about all that. Admin reporting, I think we covered everything there. Okay, I think we've covered everything that we wanted to talk about as far as just ideas. These are generic ideas that are involved in this particular iteration. But now let's make sure that I've read all the questions, and then let's ask if there are more questions. So let's see. Number of deals, Mitchell. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yep. These are all exact numbers. So from here, what's nice is now that this is all defined, the layout structure is all defined. We have very good ideas about how the metrics will be calculated in simplicity. But then again, like for example, if we had a deal count block, we would adapt the settings that you see to add to that. So as an example, when you open this accordion, based on the type of block it is, these settings will be completely different to achieve the goal of that particular reporting block. Does that make sense? Okay. And okay. Ken says something about pulling in Stripe data. Well, we can do that, but I think what we'd rather do, Ken, from our standpoint, is provide you the data of the numbers, like as far as sales, that have gone through the platform, through your account. So Stripe data could be from everywhere. You could process numbers, and then things will start to get a little bit, yeah. But that's interesting, yeah, to sort of help you understand what the fees are costing you and things like that. That's not a bad idea. Maybe Stripe doesn't want everybody to know that, right? Okay, so let's see. What about the option to click the upper right corner to collapse the block so that the name of the block and the icon are visible and expand it? Possibly, David. The only hesitation I have there is the layout, right? So one of the things we really want to be intentional about is if you say collapse this, what happens to this space? Is it empty? Things are not going to, we don't want things to shift up and start moving around and being off kilter. So that's the only hesitation. I don't know that that's really a killer, but just something to think about. Okay. Lauren says, I would love open projects. Yes. How you have open tasks? Yes. And I'd like to track our completion percentage throughout the month. Great. Yeah. Don't see a problem there, Lauren. It's exactly what we're trying to enable, those kind of ideas exactly. Most excited about the reporting block? Yes, Ken, I think I agree. That's really, and the reporting block is a first foray into a bigger reporting focus, I'll say. All right, so David says off topic. David's off topic, everyone. Careful. Some kind of page wherein I can put several forms and buttons. This page and all the children know who the target is without impersonating. But you can do that, David. I think what you mean is something like a staff dashboard, right? So if you created portal pages, just to talk you through it and make sure I understand, create a set of portal pages or dashboards. I would probably attack that with portal pages. Assign them to that team or staff member individually, if that's what you wanted to do, and build all sorts of forms there, staff submit forms, buttons, anything that the idea is that we're trying to enable you to build dashboards that your staff brings up. They bring it up at the beginning of the day, right? And that is the place that they start. Right. The best example I've always that always translates is if you have a phone person, okay, a person who answers the phones. What you should do is build a dashboard for that person that gives them fingertip options to everything that they need to know by clicking a button, right? So they click a button and it takes them to whatever information that they're often asked. And if they're asked information that they don't have a button for, they tell you, and you create a button for them. So over time, the layers add up to a perfect dashboard. But most importantly and most powerfully is you create a staff submit form that guides them through the conversation as appropriate. So say there's 6 different conversations that they're trained to have. There's 6 different forms, especially if these are new people who have never done business with you, or even if they are. And these forms collect data, right? You guide them by creating the form, and as they're on the phone, they're asking questions and filling in the form. And then they click submit after the phone call is over, but that's not the end, right? Because you also program that form with all the automations, with all the firing all the things that you need to have. The data's going to the right place. Everything's going to acting just as if that person on the other end of the phone, that potential client, filled the form out themselves. And so these are the same forms, understand? So if they filled it out themselves on a website, or your phone person filled it out for them by asking the questions directly in the phone call, you have now completely standardized your intake. And there's no holes, right? Where's the hole? Normally your phone person would take the call and they'd leave out some data, then whatever, and then they'd pass this, and then no matter how good they are, something's going to get dropped. In this way, everything is always perfect, everything is standardized, everything is uniform. All right. Upcoming events, Julia, already on the list. Very, very, that's actually one of the first ones. There's probably 5 that we already know. We're already ready. We already have ideas about layouts. They're being built already. So let's see. Ken, what about a report block that is custom read from the JSON URL, like the widget apps on the iOS dashboard apps? Maybe. Maybe. I like it. I like the idea. What's your use case, Ken? I'm just curious. Yeah, I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. I'd love to hear the use case, because I'm trying to illustrate it also for those who that sounds like another language for. In the button click action, select staff, submit. I have forms for discovery calls. Also, you're using that, Aaliyah. Exactly. It's major. Staff submit's one of my favorite options in the platform, because no doubt, and that's one of the ways that you can really take a major advantage and take your staff and pull them deeply into your automations and your processes. And it's easier for them. They don't have to remember what to ask, right? Yes, Mitchell, we're definitely looking at multiple pipelines. That's not a major ask. It's just something that we, again, are listening for as far as volume. The volume continues to be minimal, so I'll just be transparent about how that sounds from this side. So it allows us to pull data, like from Stripe and that. Yes, manage a lot of data outside. So right, but when you maybe can, if you're trying to bring that data in, are you just trying to display that data without actually putting it in the database on the SuiteDash side? I think that's where you're heading there. Yeah. Okay. TC, I'll get back to that in just a second. Let me get David's question. I would love to see a vendor management block or hourly employee block that would allow me to track hours worked from independent contractors, convert that into dollar amount expenses. Okay, and you'll track their hours, David, because they're using the timers in SuiteDash? Okay. Then for sure. Things like that, not so difficult. You're putting in hourly rates for these these hourly employees when you enter them? Yes. Okay. That's all. Those are all groundwork, foundational pieces of data that allow us to take, something like you're asking for and say, yes, we can do that. Because we have all the data. It's just a matter of math and display. Yeah. Agreed, Julia. Yeah. So I think some of you most of you, right, Ken, I will try to find time, Ken, to answer this. We have a solution for this. Okay, let's get to 3 things I can cover. I have them in my head. So first, SuiteDash started off as a client-facing solution with some staff capabilities like project management. As we continue to step through the gears, we're adding more and more options for staff. Now, Julia, the timers should be staff first for sure. I can see that. So, but as you guys notice, now staff can use update forms. Now staff can use flows. Now staff can sign documents. So we'll continue to move through and make it so that The idea is you can onboard your staff as seamlessly and train your staff in using all the same tools that you're familiar with on the client side, okay? Secondly, TC's question about the checkout block. As fast as possible, TC. I can promise you that it has been number one, and it continues to be number one. And every day I ask about it almost, and just in our meetings, and say, I'm asking because I was asked 5 times yesterday. I'm asking because I was asked 10 times yesterday. So, for me, we are definitely getting it to you, and there's no doubt about that. When, I can't really say. We're doing our best we can, but I'm really happy to know that you guys are excited about it. Okay, that's the best I can say there. And then there was one more. Oh, the custom post types. Okay, so who was that? I think that was Ken. Ken, sorry if it wasn't Ken, but Ken, think in terms, we call this feature advanced items. Okay, so advanced items, think in terms of an item that can have custom data associated with the item. What we call in these plans attributes. Okay, intentionally not called custom fields, so that people don't get confused between what a custom field is necessarily, but it functions much the same as a custom field. So the best example is real estate. Okay, so imagine you have items, but this translates all the way up and down from socks and t-shirts and hats all the way up to houses and condos and land, for example. But let's use a house as an example. So you would be able to create an item. It would be type or category of single family house. And then you could create a series of attributes, say 100 attributes: number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, acreage, construction, all the things that you see on MLS or Zillow or whatever. And then any of the items, advanced items that fit in that particular category, would have that same set of attributes, which each item could have its own value for each attribute. Okay. And this would get like an array. Yeah, like an array. Similar. Well, it's same as like a contact or company and the custom fields associated, right? So if we have contact custom fields, you could have 100 custom fields. That means every contact that you bring has 100 data points that we've identified by ID or by code or whatever it is, and each one can get data uniquely put in those little boxes for that particular person. Okay. Now imagine take this whole concept and move it to the item level, and you can create any number of so many constructions associated with that. So from a real estate, you could have here's a list of single family houses in a layout, and then you click one and then you have a single house. Say if you're in the rental business and you have 10 rental houses, very easy to use something like this to create a portal that has all those houses and all their details. And then it's like a little CMS after that, right? Once you create it. Also, you can create an entire shopping mechanism with, okay, here's all the items, and I'm going to add this into my cart, and add this to my cart, and then check out, right? So advanced items is the bridge that takes us from here over to entire shopping cart, entire multi-attributed database items that can be categorized and grouped and displayed, and then there's really no limits from there. Let me go back and I'm going to try to get everyone. Okay, Ken says basically like a MongoDB attached to a client. Similar, yes. All right, Chaplain Tig, thank you. Massive thank you. Firestarter of excitement. There's nothing like feeling you have a voice to fall deeper in love with the product. All right, awesome. I hope you guys really do enjoy this kind of stuff. This is exactly what we're trying to engender here. Ken says, Mike, can we have one-to-many relationship? For example, right now I'm trying to have a form that lets a user fill out the form with their basic info. But we need n+1 books equals title. Yes, that kind of thing. Exactly, Ken. Exactly, Ken. Okay. And then reporting blocks, my clients continually want the deals set up on the dashboard. So it'd be nice to also see these totals as options if reporting blocks as well. Deal stage. Yes, Julia. Deal stage or deal progress. I know, in deals how you have if you have a 5-stage deal, it has the 5 little green oblong rectangles, rounded rectangles. And so then, yes, you would be able to display that. That's kind of the idea. Some of these things still need to be brainstormed all the way out, yes, but we know that that's definitely a candidate for this kind of presentation. Okay, and then the dollar totals associated with those levels. You mean like the projections? Yes, okay, gotcha. That's like an admin side block, but yes. I thought about that one just yesterday, actually. That's what I really want to see is how much money am I projected to see in the next 30 days if everybody stays on track, right? Exactly. Client-facing shopping cart. That's long. It's down the road, David. Don't think it's super soon. Advanced items is even to past the mock-up stage, but sort of sitting and waiting for the right place and time to go. So chat. Let's continue this a little bit longer. Maybe I don't know how to do it. So chat with support, but not possible. But is it possible that the primary contact company is allowed to create their own? Not yet, Paul. Not yet, Paul. That's all I can say. But yes, that is definitely. You'll notice, I think you already notice, for example, this is a new functionality since a month or 2, 3 months, that the primary contact can edit company data, company custom fields. They can edit the company profile. So that primary contact has that power. And then, yes, we plan to allow for, you're saying add-on contacts. The strategy there, Paul, is that you, Paul, will create a kickoff form specifically designed for this purpose. You will create that form. And you will designate all the actions and automations and all the details, the metadata associated with how these people will be added. And then you will designate that form as the form that primary contacts can use to add people to their own companies. So that way, you're defining the rules, you're defining the parameters as the super admin, and then you allow this primary contact to create people based on your rules, right? So they don't have the ability to just, I'm going to do whatever I want over here. You'll create that machine with those levers, and then you'll allow that primary contact to do that for you. Okay. Okay. Ability to place buttons on forms, do all the cool things. Well, maybe on update forms, David. That's a possibility. On reporting blocks, my clients continually want the deals. Okay, we're past that. Trigger external apps, other users. Well, I think what you're saying is when you want to trigger external apps, that's typically done by a webhook. So it could be possible now, Jeremy, but you'll have to kind of know a lot more about the situation and the endpoints that you're looking for, the things that you're trying to do. I would say try to interface with a professional, somebody that really knows what they're doing in this case, and then lay out your use case and see if it can be done. I don't know if you know Isaac Asher, who is one of the senseis that teach our live sports sessions. He's done amazing things with the API, and I think other people have as well. But that's one that at least I can give you to maybe make a connection and get a few questions asked. Okay, great. Okay, we're at the end of the chat. No, we're not at the end of the chat. We're almost at the end of the chat. Ability to attach file the ends to an invoice. You can do that already. Yes, you can do that already. IBEX, yes. When you create an invoice, you can attach a file, yes, and it can be downloaded from the client side. Okay, just email. I don't think he would have a problem being connected, so just email help@suitedash.com if you really need that connection, and we'll try to help you out. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your attention, your suggestions, your feedback, and all the ideas. Awesome. They're really good. This session's recorded. We'll go back through this and make sure that we have all the ideas fleshed out or bullet pointed, and then we'll see what makes it into the final product. But I hope that you're excited about this and the next phases of SuiteDash. Thank you for everyone's support. Thank you, Bernadette. Thank you, Latrice. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Maya. Stacy, Julia, awesome. Thank you, David and Jeremy. Good to see everyone. Thank you guys for your support and your stewardship of SuiteDash. I think a lot of you guys are helping us as members of the community and helping us with our mission. So many, many thanks for that. Thank you, Mason. Thank you, David. All right, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of your day. All right. See you, Mitchell. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.